Hey, freaks and friends, welcome to day 13 of the Dirty One Days of October. The daily content continues with the 45 years of Halloween celebration. Today I'm bringing on a very good friend of mine, Chris Snyder from the movie Misfits channel. Today we're going to be taking a look and discussing what we want to see with the future of the Halloween franchise, whether that's going to be a new movie, TV series, what direction we want for this series to go. Let's get into it. Make sure to stab that subscribe button and slash that bell icon so you don't miss out on this daily Halloween content all through the month of October. So I have here with me, guys, you know this man next door here. This is the other Halloween guy in the small circle. This is Mr. Chris Snyder from Movie Misfits. How the hell are you, Chris?
Where am I? How did I get here? Uncle Filthy, how you doing? It's been a while. It's good to see you again and talk some Halloween again. It's been way too long. This is long overdue, I feel. So thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's been a couple years now, I think, since we were actively discussing Halloween in public.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely good to kind of get the gears going back on that.
Oh,
Am I getting Halloween fatigue yet? Probably not. Give it like 5 more days, folks. Then we'll see. But yeah, so been killing it all month of October. You guys know what's going on. So he's got the 31 Nights of Halloween going on over at the Movie Misfits channel. Be sure you guys check that out. I'm going to have a link for his channel down below. But what we're talking about today is something that it might be too early to be having these discussions, but the fanboys that we are, we need to jump into this shit and fast.
Yeah.
We're looking at the future of Halloween. What do we want to see? I'll let you take it away, Chris. What do you think they should do next with the Halloween property?
Right off the bat, they need to take a long fucking break. Look, I love Halloween just as much as the next guy. I like 2/3 of the David Gordon Green trilogy, and even stuff in the one I don't really like. There's some great stuff in there, but they're at a place right now where it's just like they need a clean slate. They need a fresh reboot. That I'm gonna start off by saying that I think they should take at least maybe 5 to 7 years off. But I'm also not stupid, and I know we'll probably get one way before that. So what I want them to do when they do come back, wipe the slate clean, fresh reboot it, new characters. I want to be done with the Strodes. I've been done with Laurie Strode since about 1998. Like that was the last time I was like, all right, like that's all I needed. I'm good. And then like I love Jamie Lee Curtis, but I'm over the Laurie Strode thing. So I want it to be about different characters. And I think in terms of like the canon, don't do another like requel. Do like a reboot. Have the original like opening scene canon where Michael's a young kid who kills his sister when he was 6 years old. He's sent off to Smith's Grove, and then he escapes Smith's Grove, and then pick up from there and do whatever the hell you want with it from that point. But that's what I would do next. But there are some other ideas that the Halloween franchise could go in, but that is the first thing I would want them to do.
Yeah, that's definitely not a bad direction. That is one thing that they should definitely do. Like I think they should do like a full stop remake where they take the 78 film, sort of do something new with it. Like you said, take Laurie Strode out of the equation because that's just going to foxhole us again.
Yeah.
Again, love Laurie Strode, love Jamie Lee Curtis. She is.
It's time. Queen. Yeah. It's been way too long. It's time.
Well, it's like as fans, and then from the creative point of view, they're going to be tempted to try and bring her back. So it's like just don't do that. Avoid that. Bring in a brand new cast. Don't even bring in alumni as Easter eggs because at this point we're going to be expecting that, and it might be a bit distracting. Yeah. And we'll be too fixated on that to really care for the plot. But I'm thinking full stop remake, but don't set up sequel bait. Begin the anthology idea from there. I think that's another conversation to be had here. Is the anthology. There's a lot. And we as Halloween fans all over this platform have discussed that in various ways. There's one of two ways I would go about that. And this is if we decide to not do a full stop remake. Release the original film, like re-release it, and then re-release, say, for example, John Carpenter's The Fog under the banner Halloween 2 The Curse Over Antonio Bay.
Oh,
Put out Season of the Witch. And do these like a couple months apart just to kind of get the wheels in motion.
right.
Maybe put out John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness for a Halloween 4. And from there, we could start fresh with the anthology idea. Get people sort of used to that. And if it doesn't work, there's just more copies of those movies we could buy if they do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was definitely thinking the anthology route also. And like you said, there are a couple different ways they could go about it. What I think would be really cool, maybe it's not a safe bet to do this, but just as a fan, you could do like the one Michael Myers movie, the following year, follow it up with an anthology, and then the year after that, another Michael Myers, like rotate, alternate. That way you get a Michael Myers movie every 2 years, so they're not rushing the Michael Myers stuff, and in between you can put out an anthology movie. Now, what I would do regarding the direction of the anthology films is I kind of want them obviously to be their own thing, of course, but have them set within that universe. Like, do one on what happened with old Charlie Bowles, and then do something with like a young Reverend Sayer. Find out the evil that he's hunting, which is something I desperately want.
Yes.
You could do like stuff that's set within the world that Michael Myers exists in without having Michael Myers there, because I feel like throughout the movies there are a couple little things planted where they're kind of just like throwaway stuff, and you're like, you could build something off of that. And Season of the Witch included. I know it's so far removed from the rest of the franchise, but I think there's a way you could incorporate it and not have Michael's mask be a silver shamrock mask. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
but there are ways.
It's stupid.
Yeah, there are ways I think that you can go about incorporating Season of the Witch into the official canon and still have it make sense. That's what I would do with the anthologies.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and there's another idea I had too with the sort of anthology direction. There's two other little ways you could do this. Now, I'm not saying give the rights all over to A24, but A24 would definitely be the studio to pull this off, this specific idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking you take at least that kind of style, do a very much a prequel, like a super fucking prequel for Halloween, where you follow the ancient cult of Thorn, sort of expanding on what they had going on in the novelization for Halloween back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Sort of expand on the old Myers lineage. Sort of expand from there on how the cult of Thorn and this ancient, pure, uncorrupted evil began to spread, and how it sort of spread across the lands, and celebrate the natural holiday of Samhain.
So yeah, you could really do some great stuff with, especially with like the atmosphere and some of like just celebrating the Halloween season that also has ties to Michael Myers. I think that would be really cool.
Oh yeah. And then this kind of piggybacks off of that. You could do like what they did with the Fear Street trilogy. Like if you're just wanting to do like a quick little thing, like if you here's proposing that every few years they keep handing off the rights of Halloween. Everybody gets like a 2 or 3 film deal where they could do what they want, pass it on to the next guy. That way it stays consistently fresh and relevant. Mm-hmm. So you could do like a Fear Street thing where you do follow sort of the ancient Thorn era for one film, and then you do maybe a pre-Civil War Haddonfield story, and then you follow October of '63, where you have what happens with that little boy in Haddonfield.
Oh.
What happens with Old Man Bowles out in Russellville, and they're kind of playing side by side with those two for the final one there.
That's an interesting idea. I wouldn't mind seeing something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of, I mean, like you were saying earlier with Reverend Sayer and Charlie Bowles, those are little throwaway bits, characters, lines, but there's so much freaking potential there because so much was left untouched. It's like, it's a whole new character. You can do anything you want really with those.
Yeah, and the Charlie Bowles thing, like we pretty much know enough information to know how it ends and stuff like that. But I would that's still something I would like to see. I would like to see that story, even though I know what happens. With the Reverend Sayer thing, it's a little bit different. This is why this is the one I'm more interested in. That's because he just says he's hunting evil. Dr. Loomis is also hunting evil, but they're two different evils. Like they're two different kinds of evil, and Sayer is just as worn as Dr. Loomis is, so he's been through some shit. And I want to know what that shit was.
Yeah, that's just so much excitement really around the whole Sayer character. Honestly, like I think we've both been saying for a few years now, like bring him back in some kind of way.
There's a story to tell there for sure.
Again, just driving home the point of the anthology, like this doesn't even have to stop at the big screen. Yeah, you could do like a good 4-season series, or you could do a limited series where every episode is its own thing, like Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
Or each season could be its own story.
Yeah.
There would be enough Halloween fans, I think, who would probably, I don't know, some of us would probably renew our Netflix accounts for that.
Yeah, that kind of segues into my next thought as well, is a limited TV series, like a limited series. I think, again, you could do the anthology route on TV, have the Halloween name attached. You have something from the Halloween lore be like the connective tissue, sort of like Freddy was for Freddy's Nightmares. Like he was still, like you still saw Freddy, even though he wasn't like the main focal point. So as long as there's something from the Halloween franchise that's kind of like the connective tissue, I don't know what you could do. You know what could be cool? Maybe files from the doctors at Smith's Grove. Maybe that's what you could tap into. So something like that. So yeah, that could be an idea. Another thing, again, going back to my idea that I just mentioned about Smith's Grove, imagine a Bates Motel-esque sort of series, but with Loomis and Michael's years at Smith's Grove. You could start, because it's kind of like a prequel at first, and then you kind of take it into your own direction, which is what A24 is currently, I think, doing with the upcoming Crystal Lake show. At least I hope they're going that route. That seems to make the most sense. I want them to do that for Halloween, because I know a lot of like hardcore fans would be like, do a Loomis movie in Smith's Grove about his time there. I think that would work better for the series route. I think, because again, us outside of the die-hard fans, no one's gonna give a shit about a Michael Myers movie on the big screen where he's not really killing anybody. He's just stuck inside this asylum. I don't think people are gonna pay to go see that outside of us. So put it on TV. If you want to watch it, cool. If not, that's fine too. Like, I think, you would have to go the series route on that, which, I wouldn't mind seeing that story again. Started off as like a little prequel of sorts, and then take it in your own direction. Like, and you could even have homages to the future of the franchise. Like H6, you could have the fucking Doctor Massacre scene in there somewhere, and then have him get like locked up in an even. So like there are things you could do with that that I would be interested in seeing. But is that the best route to take right now? I don't know. I don't know if now's the right time, but I would like to see it eventually.
Oh yeah, that's definitely one that would work. I know, even if a good handful of us liked that idea, there would still be a bunch of, and before you guys get all tangled up about this, I am one too. I am a Michael Myers nut swinger. But there would be some people who would, again, not be very happy with a lot of these ideas that we have, because it's like, where's the Michael? Like they would go full 87 Akkad on us. Like, like, where is Michael? Back to basics. What is this of cults?
You got to go back. You got to go back to basics with Haddonfield, Michael Myers, the whole thing, and more blood, always more blood.
Like, what is Russellville? Right. It was in Carpenter's movie, sir. I don't get it.
I don't know Russellville, but you know who I like? Busta Rhymes. Yeah, we want to do with Busta Rhymes. And
I saw that. Like, there's like a clip of him actually praising Busta. Like, it's like, I think even Busta Rhymes was making a shit.
Well, bless the man's heart. I we might not always agree with his creative decisions, but he was so charismatic and such a likable guy, from what I can tell. So,
yeah. He definitely put us like don't know why I'm saying us. He put the franchise really in a weird position multiple times.
Yeah.
that really just adds to the fun though for all of us at the end of the day, because if any of these ideas that we're talking about were to get picked up and ran with, and you didn't like it, you still have the great Halloween movies of old to go back to.
Yeah, it's very much choose your own adventure thing with this franchise, which I like. We don't get that in too many franchises, so I like having options, because depending on my mood, I could be in the mood for the 2 zombie films, or I could be in the mood for the Thorn trilogy, or it just all depends on my mood. So I like that we kind of have options in the Halloween franchise like that, in terms of timelines and whatnot.
Definitely makes for a nice palate cleanser. I mean, with so much to choose from, it's like you could get burnt out on Halloween, but if you mix the films up just enough, it's going to be pretty hard to get completely burnt out.
I find that too, because it's like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely not in the mood to watch, like, say, Halloween Kills right now. So, but you know what? I'll put on Halloween 4 any fucking day. That's for damn sure. So it really depends on like what you're in the mood for, and that's why I don't think I'll personally never get tired of it. But like I said, I'm tired of it in the fact that it's like so in the spotlight right now, because again, it's great that Halloween's doing well. This is a good thing for slasher fans, for Halloween fans. That's awesome. But like I said, I think they got a little bit too excited when they seen how well the response was to 2018 for the most part, and they're like, cool, let's do 2 fucking more. And then they even with all the delays and COVID and all that stuff like that, it still feels very rushed and very not as well planned out as it probably could have been. But like I'm a fan. I adore Halloween 2018. It's one of my top favorites in the franchise. Kills, there are things I like about it, but I'm not really a fan of that movie. And then I am in the camp that loves Halloween Ends. So it's not that I have a problem with that particular trilogy. I just thought there could have been better decisions made there. So, and anyways, I went on this whole tangent. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's actually I think that is a good thing that you did bring up the Gordon Green trilogy there, because this is one other what they could do, but this is probably the one thing we never will get.
I hope not.
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind if we had Cunningham's Halloween. Like, if if you were to pick up with Corey Cunningham, I enjoyed that character. Yeah, you guys might see in the list the day after tomorrow. Mr. Corey Cunningham might be pretty high there, and that might twist some butt hairs. But I don't care. We'll see what happens October 15th, right?
That's right.
But I wouldn't mind following him for a few more films, because it's been a minute since I've watched Halloween Ends, but yeah, his injury looked fatal, but he did seem to be developing that Myers ability.
That's true.
I can't remember if his corpse was on the floor or not at the end of the film, but you could always say, dude just fucking left after they took Myers' body. I can't remember exactly.
I can't remember if we see the corpse again, but because Lori and Allison leave the house, they go and do their little meat grinding thing, and then after that, I think everything's just cleaned up the next day or something. But Corey Cunningham. I'm a Corey Cunningham fan. I like this kid a lot. Rowan Campbell just like really grabbed me in his performance as Corey. I like the storyline they did with him. I know purists are pissed off, and that's cool. I completely get it. There are franchises and things about certain franchises I get the exact same way over. So I completely understand. But I am I love Corey. But yeah, you would have to do something to where it's like, oh, he didn't die, but and his death is a little underwhelming in Halloween Ends. I'm not gonna lie.
It really is.
So, but
the idea there is pretty cool, but we'll talk about that more at a later time.
Yeah, my thing is I hate fake deaths. Whenever you think someone's dead and like, oh, just kidding, they didn't really die. anytime, like pretty much any movie or TV show does it, it bugs me, like because at that point you are lowering the stakes to where someone dies and you're like, but they could be okay. Look at it's been how many years since the original Scream, and people are still talking about Stu is alive. Like that's a whole different topic but like so I don't like fake deaths, or when deaths are retconned and brought back just for the sake of bringing them back, stuff like that. So
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah. If they're gonna bring Corey Cunningham back, which I am all for, by the way, it would have to make sense. Whether it's an alternate version of Corey Cunningham that had similar events happen, but it turned out a little bit differently, they could do that, or like you said, he could just he's okay, he's injured, he's taking some time hiding, trying to recover, to very much like Michael did, but the evil has passed on and he's starting to get that supernatural stuff going on. They think they could do that too. But yeah, I do have my concerns with that idea.
Oh yeah, like it's one of those ones like it is on my Hallow wish list, if you will.
Hallow wish list, I love it.
It's fucking
is that the title of this video? Because it should be.
It very well could be, guys. At this moment, that's not what I have set up, but who knows?
It is now.
As y'all are watching, it very well could be the Hallow wish list. Or at least hashtag Hallow wish list.
There you go.
But yeah, I even wrote this is just a quick little aside for the A24 style Ancient Cult of Thorn prequel.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote in quotes, "Hallovated horror."
Hello, Jesus.
And I hate the term elevated horror.
I do too.
I dig those kind of movies, but that term is just... We're going to have to bring up the Dr. Evil gift for that one. Elevated horror.
Elevated horror.
Exactly. Like,
yeah.
Anytime I mention that from this point out, that's going to be on the screen.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, the Corey Cunningham idea, as much as that's like on my wish list, I don't feel that they would be able to really make it in a good marketable enough way where fans would want to come back.
Look, after the very divisive Halloween Ends reactions, I don't think that's the smartest move now.
If they did, it would have to be an underground film where it's like they will run background checks on you.
I do think, give it a couple more years, Halloween Ends is going to have... I mean, it already has a cult following, but you're going to get more people jumping on the train like they did for Halloween 3 and stuff like that. A couple more 100%. Years, it's going to be the same thing, which, cool.
I think with the internet, too, it's not going to be as long as it was for Halloween 3, which as much as I have a love-hate with the internet, I wish it had been a little broader a few years earlier. Yeah. That way the Halloween 3 love maybe could have been spread, like the good word could have been put out there. Halloween 3 didn't hurt you.
Right, exactly.
Like, come on.
I would like to take this moment, since we are talking Halloween 3 here for a second, to shout out our good friends over at Good Real Hunting, who are currently in development on a Halloween 3 fan film called The Package. And I believe you can follow The Package on social media like Instagram, stuff like that. I'm not sure the exact links, but go to the Good Real Hunting page. You can find all that stuff there. But yeah, definitely check that out, because a fan film based on Halloween 3, that's going to get interesting. It's going to get fun. So I'm excited about that.
Oh, yeah. Can get really freaky here. Get some of that Dr. Chalice action going on.
Oh, yeah.
Some of that stash and bash. Hashtag stash and bash. But yeah, any other things that you would want for the future of Halloween there, Chris?
I don't know about things I would want. I think we pretty much covered all the bases, but I do have some things that I don't want. That I think, because I don't know if you were going to include this as part of the video, but I figured I'll mention some of the things I don't want to see going forward. Look, Halloween 4 is my favorite in the franchise. Yes, I like it more than the original 1978 film. Sorry, grab your torch and pitchforks. I get it. But no, Halloween 4 is my favorite. I like Danielle Harris a lot in the role of Jamie Lloyd. Obviously, there was some shit that went down on H6 to where Danielle Harris didn't come back to play Jamie, and Jamie is killed in that movie. So since then, a lot of fans have been wanting, including myself at one point, admittedly, have wanted a direct follow-up to like Halloween 4, fix some mistakes in Halloween 5, ignore Halloween 6, bring Danielle Harris back as like an adult Jamie Lloyd, follow it from there. That's something that, believe it or not, as a fan of H4 and Danielle Harris, I don't think that's a good idea at all, because that could get messy quick. And look, I get it. Danielle Harris wanted some redemption for the whole H6 thing. I felt like Rob Zombie gave it to her. Yes, she didn't come back and play Jamie Lloyd. She got to play Annie, but she slayed it as Annie, and she got to return for 2 more Halloween movies.
I was going to say, she has 4 films under her belt.
Yeah, so I think she's got, like, she never really needed the redemption from Meeg. It wasn't her fault what happened, but maybe for herself, she needed to get some kind of redemption or something like that. Maybe she felt like that's something that she owed to the fans or something like that. Yeah. So I know she's been very open about that, but I think Rob Zombie gave that to her. I think...
I couldn't agree with you more on that.
Her time in the Halloween franchise, for me, outside of if you want to do an H4 direct sequel as a fan film and bring Danielle Harris back, and that's able to happen, cool. But I think her time in the franchise has passed. If they were gonna bring her back at any point after Rob Zombie's Halloween, they would have done it in the David Gordon Green trilogy when they were bringing all these other legacy characters back. And they didn't do that. They didn't incorporate her. So I think it's a little too late now.
Yeah.
But that's kind of my take on it.
And that point there, like, I couldn't agree more. I love her as much as the next guy. But that ship has sailed long ago. Again, 4 films under her belt. That's
pretty good for in the Halloween franchise. A lot of people don't get the chance to say it. They have that many movies.
It's like between her, her name is spacing. Nancy Stevens.
Yep.
Also has 4 films.
Mm-hmm.
The only people who have more films than those 2, I think, are going to be Donald Pleasance and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis, of course, yeah.
It's like, so Danielle and Nancy Stevens are in the top 4 of most actresses, rather.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Pleasance is there in a taco fest. He's having a good time, though.
Oh, yeah.
But that's why I was saying, if you were to do like a full stop remake for it, you don't want to bring back legacy actors, because it's going to be distracting. It's going to increase the wish list of, hey, we should bring this person back and this person and this idea. No.
And I feel like the David Gordon Green trilogy covered bringing all the legacy characters. But whether we liked what they did with them or not, they pretty much got like all these different people from the first couple films and stuff like that. And they're like, here you go, guys. Here's some nostalgia for you. Which, as a fan, I appreciated that. Again, not agreeing with a lot of the creative decisions they made with them. But I appreciate that they brought these characters back. Now I feel like since we've done that, we don't need to do that again. It'd be like they're just doing the same thing again, and I don't want that.
It's like in 60 years when they remake Halloween for the 100th anniversary, which hopefully I'll be around
H100.
Like, hopefully we'll be able to bitch about that one, in the next 60 years.
We'll be sitting here like, can you believe what they did to old Mikey? Mikey, I
was good to you, Mikey. But, then for the 100th anniversary, then you can start doing these cute little callbacks again.
Yeah.
It's like 40 years. I liked a lot of what they did with the characters and kills. I'm not happy with how a lot of them met their demise, but just to see them again.
Yeah.
It was like your old friend comes by, says, hey, how you doing? How's the kids? And they leave.
Yeah.
It was a quick stop little event. So that's where it was underwhelming in some cases. Tommy Doyle's being one of them.
Yeah.
I was really hoping that Anthony Michael Hall could have.
I was so pumped to see him as a pissed off older Tommy Doyle. Like, that was one of the things I was most looking forward to in the movie. That was one of the things that disappointed me the most. And it was a rough time for me. I was not happy about that at all.
It's like, I liked Hawkins, but I would have gladly traded Hawkins for Tommy Doyle to have a perfect, well-rounded arc where maybe he would have been the one to put Michael out of his misery, because that would have been the most poetry to ever poetry right there.
Right.
Like, he was the one who first sees Michael. Yeah, if I'm remembering correctly, he is the first person to see Michael and recognize him as being the boogeyman.
Right.
He's the first to recognize him as the boogeyman in the first Halloween.
Correct.
Not the first character to see him, but the first to recognize the boogeyman factor.
Yeah, like that's just not some guy in a mask. Like that is pure evil. Like that's the boogeyman right
If
there.
he were the one, if he had been the one saying Halloween ends to kill Michael, to look him in the eyes as Michael takes his last breath, that would have been like the perfect way to end it. It's like,
yeah, and
you could have kept that underwhelming kitchen battle, but if it had been Tommy Doyle in there, that would have made up for the lackluster ending we had.
Yeah, and I actually don't mind the line where he's like, I waited 40 years for this, and then he starts beating the shit out of him. Like, they could have kept that line, because I don't think that was a bad line. I just thought the context surrounding it could have been better.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully the last 5 minutes of discussion there are things that, if it ever gets out to those decision makers, don't do things like that in the future Halloween films, damn it. Malik, make sure they do us right. Make sure they do right by us.
Another thing that I don't want, because again, since Halloween Ends, I've seen this topic come up a lot. Because, you know, if you remember in that film, Corey and Allison had some sexy time. So now everyone's jumping on the evil cult baby from Corey growing up. I'm like, please don't do that. Like, if you go that route, like, seriously, I might check out of this franchise. I really would as a fan, because I'm just like, okay, now we're getting to a point where you're just kind of doing whatever, and it's not making any fucking sense. So that another thing I don't want is Corey Jr. or something like that. Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, I don't know how I would feel about that. Like, if they had to, you could have the idea now, is this sort of evil a genetic thing? And you could have like a young kid where they're sort of, it plays like a less supernatural version of The Omen, where you're kind of mixing like The Omen and Child's Play, because that's what given that that's what Halloween Ends decided to do, where it's like,
right,
the season of Christine, or Christine of the Witch.
Yeah,
you know, that's what Halloween Ends was in a lot of ways, which I love it.
No complaints here about that. Yeah,
but like, you could do The Omen of Child's Play, like, where you're wondering, is this kid born from Corey's seed and born by Allison? That was so technical, it was gross. Could that, like, you could raise the question, is this kid going to be inherently evil, or is it just coincidence that these super fucked up events are happening around this kid?
Yeah.
Like, that could make for an interesting film, but it needs to be thought out if you want to play that. It's one of those things. If you wanted to do that, if they had to, if like there was a gun to their head and it's like, make this movie, give it a few years, like, use real time, so you have like you get Andy Matichak in her 30s, like mid-30s, and have her be this mother who's concerned about her kid being weird and crazy like her dad was, or like his dad was, depending on however you want to make the kid.
Right.
It needs to be thought out, and use the real passage of time to think, if we were to make this idea, how would we make it work without pissing off the fans again?
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, they're going to get pissed off about anything. That's just how it is, unfortunately. But another route you could take is what the new slate of Scream films have been doing with the Sam character, of her whole legacy of her father and was this evil killer, and is it genetic? Is that evil passed on to you, or are you different than your father? They could take a route like that, but again, because they're doing that with the current Scream, I don't want them to do that either. Like, they've got that covered. So and again, for Halloween, maybe it could be interesting, but like you said, it has to be very well planned. In order for me to even consider that to be a good idea, because I'm just like, right now I'm sitting here like, yeah, no, don't do it, please.
Yeah, and that that would definitely bring the my battalion of Halloween fans, the ones who are not the friendliest to H2O. I'm really trying with that movie, guys. I'm really trying. I will say a few nice things about it throughout the month, so don't worry, guys. But if you were to do that too, you would kind of end up with that argument that we like to make. It's too much like Scream. Why is it being like Scream? I don't want Scream in my Halloween. I don't mind Halloween in my Scream, but I don't want Scream in my Halloween.
Right. Yeah.
It's a weird uphill battle that we do.
It is. It's a weird thing. Yeah. But I totally get it.
The eyes. The eyes, Jerry.
Again, there are characters from the David Gordon Green trilogy that I love. Allison, I love Hawkins. These are characters that I wouldn't be mad if I saw them again. But again, I don't think it's the smartest move to bring any returning characters back outside of Michael Myers. And again, maybe Loomis, if you're going to go like the younger route, and we're going to have Loomis as like an active role in the films again. But other than that, like no returning characters. You know, I don't even want to see Nurse Chambers anymore, because I know if she comes back, she's gonna die. There's no like I can't get attached to her, because every time they bring her back, they kill her off. Outside of Halloween 2, of course, but it's just like, really, this poor lady, this poor woman. I can't imagine.
That was one, like that whole scene where she gets her, and like I was shouting in the living room, because this one I streamed on Peacock. It was like the second day it was out, maybe. I can't remember what day, but I'm in the living room shouting while the movie's going. They're doing the thing where she's leaning up against the window. He's gonna smash the window, and oh my god! And everyone who was with me was like, "Dude, it's just a movie. Calm down." I'm like, "You don't get it. 40 years ago, she did this, and the window got smashed in." You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's nice to see history repeat itself, but when you double repeat history, i.e. Halloween H2O, where you have her get killed off relatively quickly after being reintroduced,
very quickly,
you just set up a weird dynamic that's going to piss off some, and others are going to be like, I don't know.
Her end in Halloween Kills is laughable. I was yelling too, but for very different reasons. At first, I was like you. I was like, hell yeah, the window thing. But I'd seen that in the trailer, so I was kind of like over that phase of being like, this is cool, because I thought this is cool when I watched the trailer. But so her end there, where she grabs the gun and she's
God,
this is for Dr. Loomis. First off, awful line, awful delivery. But what makes it even more laughable is after she realized this thing ain't firing, she's like, oh, and it's terrible. It's awful.
You know what that reminds me of? In Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh God. I know where you're going with this.
Like when fucking Pookie's trying to shoot it.
That's right.
At Robert Jason there, like, oh shit! like, oh yay! But it's nice to see Jason Goes to Hell getting some love in Halloween. I will say that.
Whatever.
Agree to disagree, shall we?
Agree to disagree.
But yeah, I think the moral of this whole tangent that we just went on here is, leave the legacy cast alone.
Yeah, it's fine, guys. Like we appreciate it. Thank you for servicing us in that David Gordon Green trilogy there. But I think just don't do that again, okay?
Yeah, it's like, I think the last thing I would touch on with that, as far as like the David Gordon Green characters, if David Gordon Green were to go back and do another comedy film after he does his thing with The Exorcist, which seems like it could be promising at the moment, we will see. If he could go back and do a comedy and bring in Jamie Lee Curtis and Will Patton and Andy Matichak, maybe bring in Judy Greer, if he could do a comedy with them, I'd be on board with that. It's like, hey, he's bringing back his Halloween band.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And that's like the least Halloween related thing going on in this whole what if situation. Like, even if they spoofed his Halloween movies, like if you have the guy who made them spoof his own shit, which I think has been done once before, like the Evil Dead 2 and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 were kind of
I think so.
Situations. I wouldn't be upset if we had something like that. But you'd have to kind of use that David Gordon Green name formula, you know, the little generator there. Halloween Laughs or something, you know?
Halloween Laughs.
That way, you know, Halloween Express.
Evil Laughs Tonight. How about that?
Fuck. Oh, fuck.
Halloween subtitle Evil Laughs Tonight.
You'd have like
look, in terms of marketing, that would actually be pretty genius. As much as I hate that Evil Dies Tonight line, that would be genius marketing. I would be here for it.
You would have to set that up with a visual gag throughout that film. Like somebody walks by with like a billboard or some kind of sticker that says
right,
and it's just a passing thing. They'll stop, whatever, tie their shoe, look at the camera, walk by, and that's the joke that will occur a few different times throughout the film. Like if he were to take all the criticisms and shit in stride and put that into a film where he takes a piss out of it all himself, that would be like probably the most noble thing I think we've ever seen in this franchise.
That'd be one heck of an apology for a lot of people, I'm sure.
I think the only person who would not like it, luckily, is not here to voice a potential displeasure. That is, of course, Grandpa Mustafa. He would he would hate us for even talking about that right now. Be like, it's like, no, you're stupid. Go to Cultus Thorn basement.
I love Michael Myers. I never want him to die. He's like a son to me. I love Michael.
When we get to the Halloween 50, which we're almost close to.
We are close. Yeah. About 5 years away.
Oh, yeah. So, I think I've covered just about everything, though, that I have to say as far as this goes. Anything else you have to offer to this one, Chris?
Not that's coming to my mind right now. Like I said, we talked about the things that I would want and then the things I definitely don't want. So I think in terms of the basic stuff, I'm good. Unless, again, something else comes to my mind after we're done with this, and I'll post it in the comments below down there. But,
there we go.
For right now, I think I'm good. Yeah.
If you guys are just coming in or just skipping to this point, which might be titled wrap up down in the description, I might remember to do that. I might not. But if you guys are at this point, TLDR, we want a lot of the same things here, and we definitely are not wanting the same things. Like our dis wants, like our displeases, exact same. Yeah. Leave the legacy folks alone. Don't follow up Halloween 4.
As much as I love it, like I said, it's my favorite in the franchise. It's time. Just don't do it.
Yeah. And I think across the board, the main idea that we want really is give us the anthology. It's time to give it a try, guys.
Yeah. Again, whether you do that in a limited series, whether you rotate and do a Michael Myers movie, an anthology movie, go back to Michael Myers, back to anthology. I don't care how you do it, but I think that's something, especially because you can play around with not just the lore of Haddonfield and Michael Myers. You could play around with Halloween the Holiday, which opens up the door to so many possibilities. I think the anthology route is pretty much a win-win here.
100%. So it seems that the major sentiment here, guys, is enough of this Michael Myers bullshit. We love the guy. We love the guy.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like your favorite bands. If you guys like old school bands and you get sad when you see them come out in their 70s and they're struggling to play their songs,
it's just like it's time to hang it up. Yeah, it's okay. Like we thank you for everything, but it's time.
It's like we've got 40 plus years of mostly solid cinema out of this.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Like it might not be the strongest, but it's definitely one of the more.
It's entertaining. Yeah, it's entertaining.
Oh yeah. It's time to hang up the mask, Mike, retire. But you guys...
Not dead, just very much retired.
Yes. But you guys making the decisions for the Halloween franchise, these are the demands. Let's see what happens in the next few years. Try to wait, please.
Yeah, wait a few years. Again, I would say about 5 to 7, but I know better. There's going to be something before that. But just whatever you're going to do next, just plan it out and plan it out in as much detail as you can, so that way you guys have a roadmap of where you're going and what you want to, you could just do like one-offs. You could do like a one-off movie, wait a couple years, come back and try another one-off. Like that could work too, I guess. But definitely have a plan going forward, no matter who is getting up the rights, because I believe Blumhouse no longer has it. I believe they only had the 3-picture deal and then they were done. Yeah. So whoever ends up getting Halloween next, whoever ends up going forward with this franchise, I would like to see a Halloween game though. We didn't really talk about that, but just to throw that out there, Halloween game like the Friday the 13th and the recent Texas Chainsaw, that could be a lot of fun. But anyways, just like have a plan going forward, because that's going to help a lot, I think.
I couldn't agree more there. And I really do like the idea of a Halloween game, because the closest we have to that is going into GTA 5, playing as Michael DeSantis, giving him the little mullet that he can get, like not a full-on mullet like Trevor has.
Right.
And putting the white little carnival mask on him.
Yeah.
And put him in the gray boiler suit. That's the closest that we really have to a authentic looking Halloween game. And that's how I would get that. We need a Halloween game out of my system, is I would play GTA 5 as Michael with the boiler suit and just go around doing Michael shit. It may have gotten boring sometimes, because it's like night doesn't last long in the game. People get scared because you stab one person in a dark corner. Somehow the whole neighborhood's already alerted.
Yeah, and there's a whole list of like great characters that would make great playable characters. Like you could Michael Loomis would be a great playable character. Lori would be a good one. Rachel and Jamie, of course, would be a good one. Like there's so many different things you could do with a Halloween video game. Oh yeah, and that could even be a good way to start introducing some of these anthology ideas. Yeah,
it's like have like little different maps on there, like Santa Mira, where you can't play as any of the big timeline characters.
For a section of the game here in Russellville, like something like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's probably a whole nother video that we're gonna have to do.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like there's more to dive into with that.
Yeah. So definitely, we might wait till November, because we both have pretty busy schedules that are gosh darn demanding this month.
I know, right?
I wonder why. Spooky season. So I think we definitely at this point, for real this time, guys, have covered all the bases. What do you have coming up in this busy month of October, Chris?
Well, it's spooky season, the best time of year, so there is a lot happening over on the Movie Misfits Network. Coming up, we got our episode of our Horrorwood podcast talking about Night of the Demons, the original, of course. That's going to be a lot of fun, and again, that's a great one to talk about around Halloween time. Yeah. On Friday Night Rentals, which is a show that we do, it's a watch-along show. We all kick back and watch a movie together. The point of Friday Night Rentals is to watch like nostalgic movies, like movies that from our childhoods and stuff like that. And one of the Halloween movies that we're watching for Friday Night Rentals is Halloween Town and Halloween Town 2, the Disney Channel original movies. Definitely got to talk about that. And on topic with Halloween, Michael Myers, the whole thing. On Horrorwood, again, after we get done talking about Night of the Demons, our next episode after that is, again, it's been 45 years of Halloween. So we wanted to do something special. We're not able to attend the H45 convention, but we wanted to do something special for it anyway. So we're going to do an episode just talking about the entire franchise, going back on our memories with it, give our quick thoughts on each one, stuff like that. So we're definitely going to be celebrating the Halloween franchise over there as well.
You might see Uncle Filthy shooting the shit with those boys sometime on Horrorwood. We'll see what happens. Schedules willing. Those may already be done. Or have they? Let's see. But yeah, anything else that you have going on over there, boss?
Not that I can think of right now. I just want to, again, thank you for having me over here. It's been a while since we had talked Halloween together, and it was good to catch up and do this again. We definitely got to do this a little bit more, but maybe next year when we got some more time to plan things out. What do you think? Yeah,
I think that sounds good.
Sounds good to me, man. So just saying, thanks for having me. been a lot of fun.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And you guys know tomorrow, those of you who have been following along, you know, all month long for the 31 Days of October Volume 2, this time we are doing things right. Every day is going to be covered. But this year the theme is, of course, the 45 years of Myers.
Mm-hmm.
This old bastard has to do a whole Halloween nut sucking. Be here tomorrow. We're going to take a look at Halloween H2O. Have I gotten less sour on it? We'll see. But I'll see you beautiful motherfuckers tomorrow.
That's right. Be excellent to each other and party on.
So you guys know the drill. Play with the icons down below. There's more than just the silly little bell and the thumbs up and all that. But if you hit the little description, see more option there next to those hashtags, you'll see a link to the movie Misfits. Go over there if you haven't already. I know a lot of you guys already are subbed over there, but if you're new here and you haven't been there, check them both out. Do the good things with our little icons down below. You know it's the right thing to do.